In the Daily Bugle office, Ben Urich looks at a book he wrote about the Green Goblin, called Legacy of Evil. In the women's bathroom, Jessica Jones calls Luke Cage and tells him she's not sure why she was called. She describes a dream she had about their daughter. Luke advises her to be careful and then hangs up, interrupting a drug deal. Urich goes to the roof and meets Spider-Man. They talk about how Urich figured out that Spider-Man is actually Peter Parker. Parker reveals that Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin. Urich asks why Parker doesn't just take down Osborn, but Parker says he can't just kill him, or he'd end up in jail. Urich mentions that people working for Oscorp are disappearing, and Parker agrees that if Osborn is harming people, he needs to be stopped, no matter what it takes. That night, Urich talks to Cheryl Dozer and asks about her conversation with Kidder. Later, he meets with Jessica, Kat, Jameson, and Robertson, and tells them that Oscorp employees are vanishing. He has evidence that Osborn is the Green Goblin. Jameson was worried that it might look like he was angry about something personal. Decides to publish Urich's story. He sends Jessica with Urich to inform the police and assures her she'll be safe. A bunch of NYPD officers, along with Urich, Jessica, and Detective Gans, go to the Oscorp building. Detective Gans wants to talk to Osborn. While they're waiting, Jessica detects smoke, and Urich pulls her down just in time. Osborn's office door blows up, and he shows up in his Green Goblin outfit, riding a goblin glider. At the Oscorp building, the Green Goblin attacks the NYPD. A blast sends Jessica falling from the skyscraper, but Spider-Man rushes in to save her. They land on another rooftop, and Jessica cries out about losing her baby. Inside Oscorp, the Green Goblin tries to harm Urich, but Spider-Man intervenes. Osborn manages to escape, but is then faced by Jessica. They fight in the air until Osborn's flying machine crashes into Jessica. Osborn escapes, and Spider-Man catches Jessica. Luke Cage meets Jessica at the NYU Medical Center, where a doctor checks her and they're relieved to find the baby is healthy. Cage then leaves the hospital, saying he can't ignore what's happening. Norman Osborn turns himself into the police, and the Daily Bugle exposes him as the Green Goblin. Osborn's lawyer blames the Daily Bugle for targeting him and claims that Spider-Man attacked Oscorp. While in Osborn's car after a press conference, the lawyer tells Osborn he can only help if he knows the truth. Suddenly, Cage attacks the car. Spider-Man shows up as Osborn tears apart the car to find the Green Goblin costume and glider. Osborn throws 2 grenades from his car. Spider-Man uses his web shooters to safely throw one away, and Cage shields the other with his body. Osborn then emerges from the car on his glider, but Spider-Man and Cage pull him down and beat him up. Afterwards, Kat Farrell tries to interview Cage, saying she now has the Bugle's headline story. At the Bugle office, Jameson, Robertson, Farrell, and Urich watch a TV news report revealing Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin. Jameson gets his journalists ready and asks Urich if he's willing to reveal Daredevil's real name, but Urich refuses and starts writing his article about Osborn. Outside the Bugle office, Jessica reads the newspaper with the headline, "Osborn Jailed," and whispers to her unborn child that this is all that matters to her. Week after an attack on Luke Cage's apartment in Harlem, Jessica Jones encounters Wolverine, who is very upset and threatens her before breaking down in tears. In the past, a powerful energy blast destroyed Luke Cage's apartment. Luke and Jessica were taken to Metro Hospital, but Luke's unbreakable skin made his treatment tricky. Jessica found out that her baby was okay. The police questioned her about the attack, and she admitted not knowing the woman who attacked Luke, even though the woman seemed to know him. During the interview, the police got a call about their case, and they had to leave the hospital right away. Jessica and Danny Rand were at the hospital with Luke Cage, who was in a coma. Nick Fury arrived, and Jessica demanded to know why he was there. Steve Rogers then showed up, and he began arguing with Fury, saying he had warned him about something like this happening. Fury told Rogers to go outside, and Steve warned Jessica to keep her baby safe and get away from there. He also instructed Rand to get ready to move Cage. Jessica called Matt Murdock and left a message, explaining her situation and asking him to come to the hospital. She noticed a suspicious man in the lobby, but called Ben Urich to let him know where she was. Their conversation was cut short when the suspicious man ran off. Then, there was an explosion outside that knocked out the hospital's power, followed by another explosion that sent a destroyed ambulance into the lobby. Jessica went back to Luke's room and found him and Danny were gone. She made her way through the crowded hospital to get outside, only to discover that the hospital had been seriously damaged. The morning after the attack at Sinai Hospital, Ben Urich finds Jessica and her, and Luke is wrecked apartment in Harlem. Jessica tells him about the attack that tore their room apart and the hospital incident where Luke disappeared. Urich is surprised to hear that Nick Fury and Captain America were involved, and he admits he knew nothing about these attacks. They go back to Mount Sinai Hospital, only to find it in ruins. The police won't provide any information. A nurse accuses Jessica of causing the destruction and makes racist comments about her and Luke's relationship, while claiming not to know Luke's whereabouts. Ben calls Gloria Grant at the Daily Bugle to leave a message for J. Jonah Jameson and Robbie Robertson. He learns that there were reports of fireworks at the pier from a couple of people. Jessica and Ben go to the pier, and it's also heavily damaged. Jessica talks to a homeless man who was saved by Daredevil during the previous night's battle. She leaves another message for Matt Murdock. Jessica shares with Ben that she once refused a job offer from Nick Fury to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. She tries calling Clay Quartermain but finds his number disconnected. Jessica attempts to call Danny Rand, Misty Knight, and Luke's phone, but only gets their voicemail. She checks her answering machine but finds no messages there either. Ben and Jessica visit the Daily Bugle office to tell Jameson and Robertson about the situation. However, Jameson leaves the room when Nick Fury is mentioned. Robertson explains that the media avoids reporting on Fury's matters because they assume that he keeps secrets to protect many lives or basic freedoms. But Ben argues that people fear losing government access, which is why they avoid these stories. Jessica gets frustrated and leaves the building. Outside, she sees a trench-coated man watching her. But he vanishes like a holographic projection when she tries to approach him. Jessica goes to Misty Knight's apartment, but collapses on the steps. Some kids find her but run away when another trench-coated man appears and tells them to go to school. Two more trench-coated men reveal themselves as Hydra agents.